Right. This is an interview with Raymond Gamble, Wednesday, September 18th, 2002. It's approximately 10:40 a.m. at the Holiday Inn, Westbury, Long Island, New York. Interviewer is Michael Russert. Could you give me your full name, your place of birth, and date of birth, please?
Raymond J. Gamble, born February 19th, 1925, in the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay. What was your pre-military service education?
None. You mean as far as no, I had no.
Well, you went to. Did you go up through high school prior?
No, I went through like a year or two of high school. Then I quit and went and joined the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
I volunteered for it in 1942, and that's when they had dropped the registration to 18. I was 17 at the time, and I had asked my mother to let me go. She says no, but when they dropped to 18, I told her, I want to join the Navy. She says okay, so I handed the papers to sign. But I was sworn in December of 42, and they sent me home and called me to active duty February 5th of 1943.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell me why you picked the Navy?
Well, I didn't like crawling in the mud. That's one of the reasons why.
Okay, could I go back to something else too? When you heard about Pearl Harbor, where were you, and what do you remember about that? About your feelings?
Well, if I remember correctly, in Pearl Harbor, that was on a Sunday. I had gone to church, and then I turned around and we met the girls in ice cream parlor. Then we left them there and went to the bar, and that's when I heard about it. See, and at 17, I was ticked off, mad, but not much that I could do. And I had a very good friend of mine, William Anderson, and him and I decided to turn around and go together at the same time. But I had a little problem as far as, because my mother and father divorced, and I had what held it back a little bit was guardianship, who was guardian. So my mother had to get papers to prove that she was a guardian before I could get into the Navy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, when you enlisted in the Navy, where did you go do your basic training?
Well, I went to 90 Church Street, Manhattan, and they sent me to Bainbridge, Maryland in February 5th, 1943. I stayed there in February, March, until around April, a lot of part of April. Then they sent me to signal school at the University of Chicago, Illinois. And I stayed in Chicago for 3 months. Then around July, they sent me to Little Creek, Virginia for amphibious training. See, and I made 3rd class petty officer while I was down there. Then they sent me, they kept me there until January 44. See, I've been training in and out. And then we come to New York, because we were being shipped overseas. And we came to New York in January of 44. And I got to tell you the story. I was home. I commuted at 42nd Street, and I lived in 96th Street, Manhattan. And I said to the chief, "Hey, chief, can I get home?" He said, "Where do you live?" I told him. He says, "As long as you're back within an hour." So I went home. I told my mother, I said goodbye to her and everything like that. And I said, "I'll see you." Because I said I'm going overseas. But unbeknown, I come back. We go to Lido Beach, because that was the point of embarkation. And I wound up staying to the end of January, because this was around the 2nd of January. So I stayed until the end of January. My mother said, "Oh, I thought you were going." I said, "I am, don't worry." But when we were going overseas, when we did go overseas, we turned around from Lido Beach to Long Beach. We walked, we hiked it. They made us hike it. We got the Long Island Railroad, shipped us into Jersey somewhere, I don't know what part of Jersey, backtracked to Jersey City, the piers, I guess. Got the ferry, went across, I think, Pier 90, and got the Canard Line, got the Aquitania. Then, of course, we left for England, and we pulled into the Firth of Clyde, and it was Greenock and Gourock. That was the towns there, and we were stationed at Roosevelt. The Navy had taken a base over there, and that was an amphib base, and we stayed there for, well, for the good part, what, January, February, then somewhere around March, somewhere I picked up the gunboat, the U.S. LCGL 7.
Why don't you show us that here in the picture?
I picked up this gunboat here. It was an English gunboat with 200 foot. See, and the English, what they did, they turned around and made a gunboat out of it. It was a landing craft originally. They made a gunboat out of it. On this here, they have two 4.7s and two 20 millimeters aboard. And we were training on this for the invasion of France. See, we had gone to Poole, England. We went, well, I'm jumping ahead. Well, we got that, then we sailed down to, and that had no bunks. You had to use your hammock. That's the first time I ever slept in a hammock, believe me. And then for about a month or so, we sailed along the coast of England down to Salcombe. That's where our home port was. Then we were going in and out, doing a little training. We had gone to Poole, England, because that was the English amphibious base. And had a Marine officer come aboard, Marine major, show our gunners mate how to use the guns, the 4.7s. And while there, they were training us how to use the bayonet. And I was surprised as hell. Here's a sailor learning how to use a bayonet. But what it was for, if you know, they have the low water line where they were supposed to repel any invaders. That's why they were teaching us. See, but we didn't know it at the time. But when we went back to Salcombe, I'll read it from here. I can refresh memory. But we sailed back to Salcombe. We left Salcombe on June 5th, and we got underway, and the water was very rough. So they called it off, and they pulled us into a town called Port of Weymouth. We stayed there for a few hours. Then we pulled out on the 5th, and of course the 5th originally was supposed to be D-Day, but because of weather, they made it the next day, June 6th. Then we pulled in. We stayed in. Well, later that same night, we sailed toward the coast of France. At 6 a.m. or thereabouts, the invasion of France began. I was on a gunboat. We had two. Well, I explained that. We fired at least 300 rounds that day into the shores. And the reason why I was taught how to use the bayonet, because we were supposed to engage any German anti-amphibious craft that come out of the harbor. We were supposed to engage them, but they never did. And that's why I was taught bayonet training for.
Now, was this a close support vessel? How close into the shore did you go?
Well, we got maybe a couple hundred yards off. That's because that wasn't our purpose. Our purpose, but we did fire in because one of the gunners mates happened to spy a bunker, whatever it was, holding up a line of tanks. So the captain turned around and says, "Fire a shot, see how close you get." Then we did. We fired 300 rounds or so with the two guns, because our range wasn't that far. We could shoot further back, see, further inland. So then we hung around for about 7 days.
Now, what beach were you?
Utah. It was Utah Beach. And reading through history, I found out that's the one Theodore Roosevelt had.
Oh yes, that's right.
On that. But I'll tell you, you know, you're going in, and you turn around, you look at a small boat with Army guys in it, and you look forward, and you come back and look around, it's gone, because the 88s were, you know, knocking them out. If anybody says you're not scared, they're full of baloney. Because I was for the first half hour, at least I was, and then after that, I said, the hell with it. If it's going to get hit, it's going to get hit. I'll never know the difference anyway. But we stayed there for 7 days. We pulled out just before it had that big storm.
Oh yes. Right.
And we went back to Salcombe, England. I got a 5-day leave. I went to London, and while I was in London, who do I meet? I meet the major who was teaching us how to use the guns in London. Sure, it was a good time. It was nice. Then we come back. I stayed there until September, and then that's when we brought. We were coming home on a Queen Mary, but there was a Normandy and the Aquitania. Was for some reason Churchill picked the Queen Mary, so we had to hang around a week waiting for him. Then we turned around and took.
Well, you told me this downstairs. Why don't you tell me the story? What was your connection to the Queen Mary?
Oh, my mother had a friend that worked on a Queen Mary in New York, and when they come to New York, she used to bring me aboard in 38 and 39. Say when I come to New York in 1938, 38 and 39, and toured, go around, and then on September 39, that's when England declared war, and that's when the Mary had took off, went home. Then when I come home, I wound up on the ship that I used to board. Come back, you know, on it. It took us 7 days to come home on the Queen Mary, because what we did, we turned around and we had, I think we went ashore as a cruiser Ken, 2 destroyers, escort to Halifax. That's because that's where we dropped off Churchill, and then came to.
Now, did you ever see Churchill?
No, it's funny. I never seen the guy. I never seen Churchill during a 7-day trip that we had. The only time I seen him, I was on a boat deck looking down, and he was getting off the gangway, going down to the shore. That's the only time I seen the man doing no. And it was only about 5,000 of us aboard the ship at the time. They were coming home. And I don't know why he never come around, but I guess he had his reasons. But anyway, then we pulled into New York, and that's when they had a big hurricane hit New York City on September '44. So I got 25-day leave and 5-day travel time, and they gave me orders to report to Camp Elliott, San Diego. So I was out in Camp Elliott, San Diego for a few weeks. Then they shipped us to Coronado to pick up an LCI. Then from the LCI, I went up to Terminal Island, which is right next to San Pedro, and I picked up the ship there, APA, troop transport. I was on APA, it was USS Briscoe, APA 65. Then when I got to Pearl, they transferred me to USS Thurston, AP 77. And then we left. I left New York in December. I mean, I left. Terminal Island in December, and we went to Pearl Harbor on the way over. You know, I hit Pearl, and then in January, around January, the latter part of January, maybe the 8th, 20th, 25th, somewhere like that, we turned around and we took off, and we went to going to Iwo Jima. Well, we didn't know until we were on the way that we were sailing for Iwo Jima. Then we stopped in one place, I think Ulysses. Then we turned around and went up to Iwo Jima. And I wrote my mother a letter. I told her, geez, I had a big July 4th celebration. And she never caught on, because it's February 19th, 1945, and that was my birthday. So I didn't go ashore till about 5 days later, because we were held back. That we had, I'm not sure we had back part of the Army Air Force, the night fighters were held. I mean, after the 5th day I went ashore, I stayed about 6-7 days, and because the ship I was on took off and it sailed to Espiritu Santos, New Hebrides. Well, Espiritu Santos, New Hebrides, and then the ship that I got, the Carteret, APA 66. And we had a lot of fun crossing the equator.
Could you tell me what did you do while you were on shore at Iwo Jima?
Well, our job, I was in a beach party, and our job was to take care of the small boats and everything that coming into that. It was Blue Beach on Iwo. We were supposed to take care of everything that comes in on Blue Beach. You know, direct them. We were there to, like a director, traffic cops, and help them out. You know, if any problems or anything like that. And well, I was a signalman, so I signaled whatever it had to be, whatever the captain told me or the skipper told me to signal. So we stayed there for about 6-7 days, and I'll tell you, I was scared. We had gone ashore, and there was a few foxholes left from the Marines. So what we did, we fixed them up, put tarps on top of it, everything like that. And I'll tell you, I heard a noise at night. It kept me awake a whole damn night. I didn't know what that, because I'll tell you, if anybody popped his head in that hole, he would have been shot. Because I didn't know what it was. But what it was, the next day, it was the end of the tarp flapping. And that's what kept me awake for the whole night. And then when we were getting ready to leave.
Can I ask you a second? Were you there when the flag was raised on?
No, I was aboard ship at the time when the flag was raised. I was aboard ship. We were told, you know, I had binoculars. I was always up. My job was always up on the bridge, and they had noticed it, and through the binoculars I seen it on there. But and then when we were getting ready to leave to go back to the Thurston, I had packed all my gear, and I was issued a carbine while I was there. I forgot, and well, I went down towards the water, and I went back. The carbine was gone. So I told the skipper about it. He says, "Don't worry about it." He said, "When you get back aboard ship, you get another one." Because I said, "I didn't care. If the guy could use it, let him use it." Because that was supposed to be a 3-day operation, and wound up being 33 days. They got a big surprise. So you had the 3rd, 4th, and 5th Marine Division that were there at the time. And I think the 4th was the one that was held back. The 3rd and the 5th had made it in the 4th. But I'll tell you, the beach was, even when I was short, you could see the wreckage, you know, on the beach, but the chaps that did from Suribachi and everything. Anyway, we left the island. We go back on the ship, the Carteret. We got on Spirit of Santos. I got aboard my ship, and they handed me a rifle. And I said, "Oh, jeez!" It was packed in Cosmoline. I had to take the whole thing apart and put it back, to clean it up and put it back together. So I didn't lose it again until I had to issue it back. But anyway, we picked up the part of the 27th Division, and we took them up to Okinawa. And I wasn't there when the actual invasion was Okinawa. We brought them up and put them on the island, which was still fighting. It was still part of the invasion. And we were supposed to take them to, if I remember, to Iwo Jima. But they diverted them to the mainland, because that's where the tough fighting was going. And the group I was with, the beach party, they went ashore. But the doctor wouldn't let me go because I had acne on both shoulders. And he didn't trust me going ashore, so he kept me aboard. I'll tell you the truth, I wish he had. Because GQ in the morning, GQ at night, you know, you see the planes flying, you know which one's which. Hey, so he was nervous.
Did you see any of the kamikaze attacks?
Well, I seen one fly by. You know, I seen one fly by. They were shooting at it, and it was on the port side of the ship. Was going the way it was going forward. We seen it. It was off at a distance. You know, it wasn't near us. But we were lucky. I have to say, I've been very lucky that during the course of the time that I never seen anybody killed alongside of me, but I seen it at a distance. So, you know, I knock on wood for that. I say a prayer for that, because I don't know how I would react. Like, you never know until it happens. Anyway, we left. We stayed there. Let's see, that was in April, May. Part April, May, the start of May. We left in May, and we went back down to Guam, and they dropped us off at Guam at the beach party, and we were staying at Guam. We were doing a missile training and everything, And we were at ICOM FIPPAC. That was Amphibious Command Pacific. That's where we were. And of course, we were getting ready for Japan. And I'll tell you, I always say my best president was Truman when he dropped that bomb. It saved my life and a lot of others. Believe me. Anyway, we turned around, we stayed there. Then in November of that year, 45, I got aboard I come home on the USS Yorktown. 13 days to Treasure Island. I go over to Treasure Island. They said, "Where's your pea coat?" I didn't have any because I had everything stowed. Because out there you're warm. You never figure in November it'd be cold. So I just had a little brown jacket. So they issued me another pea coat, put me on a train, took 5 days to get home. And December the 11th, I was discharged. And then I went home. But, and the only time I volunteered to be a cook coming back on the train, because I had the best of everything. You know, you always had first choice. But it was good.
Let's go back to, I think I stopped you describing your crossing the equator ceremony.
Oh, yeah, when we were coming back on Carteret, they have an organization called Shellbacks. And if you never cross the equator before, you're called polywog and every other thing but. So they have an initiation that when you cross the equator. So of course, being a polywog, I got saltpeter, stuff to chew on, liquid. They paint your body. You had to kiss the Neptune's belly. They get the fattest guy aboard, and you had to kiss it, go up. They give you a little shock with the spear, Neptune's spear. And it was a whole day ceremony. It was good. Took me quite a while to get the stuff off my body. Oh Jesus! We had a lot of fun.
Do you have your? Why don't you show us your card right now that you?
I have this is the card here. It's makeshift. It still has a seal on it. You can see the seal in the back. This is the card that was issued to me. I also have a big, what do you call them?
Like a certificate?
Yeah, a certificate. Yes. That.
Anything on the back of that card?
No, it's just as it is.
Okay, got it.
And if you want where I'm at, and this is, believe it or not, I don't know how good you can see it, but this is the faded ID card that I had from then. It was issued to me.
Yep, hold it right there. Okay, got it.
Okay. And this is what they gave me when I get out, even though it is broken half on me, but that's to let you know you were in the Navy.
Okay.
And well, I'll show you. This, we're talking about Iwo Jima. This is the sands of Iwo Jima that I had brought home. It was 1945.
Okay.
All right. And this is I like to get my brother in this.
Yes.
This is a picture of my brother and I. It was September of 1944. That's the only time we were home together.
Now who is who?
This is me. This is Raymond, and this is William Gamble.
Okay.
The one with the white hat is my brother Bill.
Okay.
Where did he serve?
He served in the Pacific, and he was on Okinawa, and he was in the CB's 36th Construction Battalion, and he got caught in that typhoon and wiped him out. You know, wiped everything he had. But he stayed in a few years extra.
So you missed that typhoon. That was one of my questions.
Oh yeah, yes. We had sailed out of there. We were going back towards Guam and Saipan. We had gone back. And
okay, finished with.
Whoops. We'll get that for you.
We'll get him. This is the with the French government. They gave me a medal and this certificate for the invasion of Normandy.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, this is the one. I like this one. Believe it or not, out of the two discharges, I like this here one here. And this is the discharge that I got. Well, I was discharged from Lido Beach, December the 11th, 1945.
Okay, got it.
And then, after I got out in 45, I turned around and I got a job with Edison. And I stayed with Con Edison for about 4 years, 5 years, and I turned around and I re-enlisted in the Navy, because I was going to make a career out of it.
Mhm.
But after re-enlistment, I met my wife, so that kid, but they called me back to active duty for 22 months. And I stationed in Clifton, New Jersey. They had this reserve training center there. Then they put me aboard a ship, the USS Marietta, in '82, and it was stationed at the Floyd Bennett Field. It was Thatcher Harbor Defense, New York. I didn't want that. I wanted to go with the Sixth Fleet, but I had to stay aboard there. I stayed for 22 months on there.
That was during Korea?
Yeah, during the Korean War, yeah. So I have a, and this is the discharge I got from them, from the, that's why you know why I like the other one? 'Cause
Why?
it's got the Navy ship on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's
It's
more
more,
decorative and
Right.
yes, yes.
Okay.
okay. But, and this is the card, the ID card that they gave you for the Korea, during the Korean War, part of it.
Okay, you want to just turn that around? Okay. All right, got it.
That's it.
Is there anything you wanted to mention that you maybe forgot?
Well, that's why I'm.
Yes, that's what I thought. How would you say your service, your military service, affected your life?
Well, it transformed me from a boy to a man, that's for sure. You got an experience that you would never have gotten if you haven't gone in. And you grew overnight. And I don't know. I'm still a Navy man. In fact, I got to when I was at the Iwo Jima Association dinner past February. I won a jacket, and it had a big U.S. Marine on it. So I said to John Hobbs was the guy's name. I said, "Hey John, can you take this off and put the Navy emblem?" But it was embroidered. They couldn't do it. So he turned around, had a Navy emblem put on his side here. So I had people, where do you got the Navy emblem and the Marine? I said, well, you see this group here, the Navy? I said, this group here took this group to Iwo Jima. That's what I tell on that. See.
Did you ever make use of the GI Bill?
I just made use of it for when I bought the house. That's what that's the only thing. I never joined the 5220 club, what they call it, 52 weeks at $20.
Right.
I never joined that. And I did use it for to buy a home. I got 4.5% interest on it for the home and everything. That's the only thing as far as the GI Bill that I use.
Now, when did you get married?
I got married March the 1st at 11 minutes after 11 in I even remember it, in 1952. In fact, I was stationed at Clifton, New Jersey, and I got off Saturday morning, got to duty, and I got off Saturday morning, and it snowed like a summer gun. I was supposed to be at the City Hall at 10 o'clock. I never did make it until 11, because the snow hindered me from getting in on time. But I always remember the time. March 1st, 11 minutes after 11 was when I got married. Been married. I was married for what 40 years. My wife died January 10th of 52. No, 92. What am I talking about? 92. I had a good year. Good
Do you have
marriage.
children, many children?
Yeah, I have a boy and a girl. I have a boy. He'll be 50 in December, and my daughter's 46.
Okay.
They too.
Anything you want to ask? Do you have anything else you want to add?
Well, I don't know.
Well, let me just ask you this.
Right.
Have you kept in touch with any of your
yeah,
old
sure.
shipmates?
I tell you the truth, being moving around, I never had occasion to be anywhere too long. I did meet one guy in Buffalo a few years back, and I don't remember him. We couldn't. I have his picture. I had a picture at home of the group, but I never did get in touch.
Now, you did mention downstairs you've gone to some of the reunions and
Well, I
different
belong to.
events.
No, I go to the American
Oh,
Legion.
okay. Oh, okay.
I belong to the American Legion, and I go to. Well, all department conventions, and I try to make the national conventions. See, from like Anaheim, New Orleans, Salt Lake City, or Charlotte this year.
Okay. So,
San Antonio.
that's good. Okay, well, thank you very much, sir, for the
Okay.
interview.
All right, and those pictures, this and this you keep. I don't need that. But you say you want those.
Yes, sir.
When those fellas come up, there's a few of us that come up and asked if we'd like to be interviewed, like we would now. So we thought they were joking. We were kidding around. We said, yeah. The hell with it. About 3 weeks later, they come back and they interviewed us. They took us up to Nimitz headquarters, where they made the tape, and not the tape, but the record at that time. And it did. It was over WNEW. They sent the record home, and I still have the record today of when I was there. I was surprised though when the guy.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
The only thing